bring in Jim Jackson, the former NBA player, Clippers lead analyst. What do you make of what Charles Barkley had to say, that he's stacking his team and chasing rings here?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is true. He wants to win. I mean, LeBron wants to win whether you like it or not. The way he does it for a lot of older players doesn't make a lot of sense, because the mentality back in the day was you played against your enemy, quote unquote, until you couldn't beat them anymore. They couldn't beat you, and that was it. I mean, the mentality of, he's been there, done that. We talked about, I mean, it's exhausting talking about it with regards to LeBron and his decision-making and why he does things. And again, Dan, in his defense, he's supposed to do what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And he'll deal with the ramifications that come with that, whether that's not viewed as, the all-time best player in the league by consensus of people. But I will say this. The further we get away from the Jordan legacy, kind of like Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain, the narrative, I think, will change, because the people who will be writing the narrative, ahead of the narrative, are the ones that were in the era of LeBron James, who saw LeBron James play actually. And that story may sound a little different with regards to who the best is, 15 years from now. I just really think it does.
I would agree with you to a certain degree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mike still got his shoes out there. Mike strategically put out the Last Dance. Mike sent a message after LeBron won that title. That was not an accident. That was a reminder documentary, and he still has the best-selling shoe that's made him a billionaire. I think we'll be hard-pressed to go, I remember LeBron, and I think he's a better player than Mike.
Well, but all things do change, though. I mean, at some point, it's going to happen. Now,
you think 15 years from now, you got people saying LeBron was a better player than Michael?
I think so, because the generation that grew up watching LeBron didn't really see Michael play, or you caught it on the back end. The people that are going to be writing the stories are going to be talking about the exploits of LeBron James. They can only talk about what they saw on tape on Michael Jordan, or what they can look up. It's like how dominant was Wilt Chamberlain.
But all the games are on YouTube. You can see every one of Mike's performances.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that people are going to watch him. They didn't grow up with it. See, we were fortunate, Dan. It was different with Mike during his era. It was something special about not having social media, because when the Bulls came to town with Mike, it meant something. It was almost like once in a lifetime, even though it was once in a season, and you knew Mike was going to be there. Even playing against him at that time, it was just different. You can't recreate that aura. I don't care how good Steph is, how good LeBron is, KD, these young players, because it was an anonymity for the Bulls and Michael Jordan. You knew stuff about Mike, but you didn't know intimate details, okay? And I think that lended itself to his aura and his
mystique.
Mystique. Yeah. We don't have that. We know too much, which is a good and bad thing about players today. And I think you'll never be able to replace that. I think that's one thing about Mike that nobody will, moving forward will have. Kobe didn't have it.
Close.
He was close. But he was on that back end of when social media really started to really hit.
Yeah.
Okay? So that, gave us a little bit more in depth into Kobe's life, but not like he was on social media like that, though. You know what I mean? It was just so different during Mike's time.
But the thing with Mike is you have moments you remember. You don't necessarily – how many moments of LeBron do you have where you go, oh, yeah. With Mike, I mean, we're littered with moments that we had not seen before, or, he put up whatever, the regular season or postseason.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's most famous play is a block.
Well, but, in Detroit, scoring 25-plus points in Boston.
But yes, but nothing that was a signature, moment.
To you.
Well, I mean.
See, you know what I mean? It depends on who's making that argument, because I'm sure there are LeBron fans that can litter you with stuff that happened with LeBron and key moments. But Mike's art, Again, because the timing was so. I'm not saying that LeBron's is better or worse. I'm just saying it's different.
No, his resume is better. Mike's a better player. That's how I approach this.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, too, because of everything surrounding the Bulls at the time. I mean, it was a traveling circus, bro. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So those moments with Mike were special because at his time, he took the banter from Bird and Magic and kind of just exploded not just from the United States, but worldwide. Magic had a touch of international success, but Mike's was just totally different. It was just something, some people come into the room, you can be in a room full of billionaires, millionaires, superstars, but it's that one person that comes in and their energy just changes the room. I don't care who it is. That's Michael. It's just something different. And it's not one thing, Dan. It's not one moment. It's not one action. It's not one shot. It's a culmination of a lot of things leading from North Carolina to his Olympic team to the Bulls. You know what I mean? It's just this whole plethora of things that have happened in his life that he's been a part of that folds into why Michael Jordan will always be at the top of the conversation. More so basketball-wise, but just what he meant to the game.
Talking to Jim Jackson, MBA college basketball analyst. Tell me how it doesn't work in Philadelphia.
It doesn't work as far as what? Winning the championship.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, Dan, you know this. It's extremely difficult in year one to win it. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't get to an Eastern Conference Finals. That doesn't mean that they can't get to a finals. We saw them, they did it in Miami. But a lot of things have to go right. Now, this is a deep team. I put New York and Philly in the tier by themselves in the Eastern Conference. And then you have Boston and Boston and Cleveland, Detroit probably below that, and then another tier with Washington, Atlanta, Orlando, stuff like that. One, Embiid, health. End of the year. If I'm Philadelphia, I am low managing his minutes. Not that he's not playing, because you need continuity, but his minutes, 20, 32 minutes a game. Sometimes he doesn't play back-to-back, so he can be healthy. Two, how does Jaylen Brown, going from probably being the second option now, maybe still the second option, but in a different way with LeBron? That's the key to me, is that Jaylen Brown-LeBron mix, not Maxey, not Embiid. It's those two. This team has set itself up to be as deep as anyone in the Eastern Conference. And I think we'll really get an idea of this team and where they're at right around All-Star break or right after All-Star break, going into the last month and a half of the season. We'll get a real good indication of where this team sits. And I figure at that time, they'll be at the top of the leaderboard, hovering around there in the Eastern Conference at that time.
I mentioned if Jaylen Brown doesn't go to the Sixers, LeBron's not going to the Sixers.
You don't think so?
No way. He wants to win a title.
True.
That's all. Everybody wanted, you're going to go back, family, and bookend your career to Cleveland. Hey, you've been to Miami. This is about winning a championship. And Jaylen Brown, when he was traded July 6th, I think LeBron James realized, if I'm going to win a title, I got a better chance of winning a title there than any other place.
Well, he does. The ceremonial swan song would have been great in Cleveland. But then it kind of would have wore itself out because it's the third time. Well, we kind of seen this before. Yes, it's special. Yes, you're at home. But can you get over the top? Golden State would have been great for us as fans just to see Steph and LeBron play together.
Yeah.
But from a competitive perspective, I don't think they're getting out the West. Philly is intriguing because of all the components there and the opportunity to get to a finals and win it. Now, New York is still going to be tough. I know, losing Mitchell Robinson is tough, but got Andre Drummond. They bring everybody back whole and healthy. And plus, they have the institutional knowledge, so to speak, of playing with each other and winning it that gives them the edge. But for talent, roster for roster, if you look at the starting five in depth of Philadelphia, you cannot deny that this is a team that, if everything comes together, that come near the end of the season is New York, Philly, Eastern Conference Finals, trying to figure out who they're going to play in the Western Conference for the NBA championship.
And I do believe if Darius Garland is still on the Cavaliers and not James Harden, you've got a better chance of getting LeBron to go to Cleveland.
What, because of the way James plays?
Yeah.
And because of his history?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying in that aspect, because it is some dirty baggage that James does carry with him, despite all of the accolades. And again, I covered him those years here, in LA. And one thing I will say, despite some of the flaws that have perpetuated with James throughout his career, my man wants to hoop. When it was time, when guys were out, back-to-backs, he wanted to play. Now, was it always pretty at times? Maybe not. He got older. But one thing I will always say, that he did want to play. And that's an interesting thought process, because I heard other people saying the same thing. Some pundits, some people inside the NBA that talked about if Garland was there, and the fit with James Harden just didn't quite match what LeBron was looking for.
I wouldn't want to play with James Harden. I can't win a title with him. Like if we're playing pickup, then all right, I'll take you.
Right.
But I'm playing, Eastern Conference Finals. I get a little nervous there.
No, I get you. This whole LeBron thing is interesting, Dan, because you've been around this for a long time. We haven't seen anybody this polarizing in sports, I don't believe, with regards to, one, coming out with the high expectations, okay? Two, exceeding those expectations. But three, being very critical of everything. Now, we can't exclude LeBron from adding to this himself. He has some equity into how people perceive him. So let's not get that twisted. But so does everybody, okay? But it's just an interesting dynamic with LeBron James, and it's a polarizing name when it comes up.
But I don't know why he's polarizing. I don't know why we don't root for somebody like this who lived up to the hype, surpassed the hype, grew up in a single-parent household. I mean, there's issues on the way, but not off
like everybody.
Yes, but people, they make it seem like LeBron stole their dog.
I know.
I just don't understand. Maybe sometimes he's passive-aggressive, but damn, this.
Well, here's the thing. If he's passive-aggressive, people don't like him. If he's a Kobe-like person that just goes at his teammates where you're too hard on your team, you can't win, okay? And I always said this: you can't take greatness for granted, because it doesn't come around like this that often. And for the last, I would say, 10 years, we probably a lot of people have taken LeBron's greatness for granted.
Yeah.
Okay? When it's gone, it's gone. It ain't coming back. This is not country music. This is not entertainment where you can come back and do tours, once a year, twice a year, and you come out and see. Once you're done playing, you're done. And then all of that you accomplished, all of that you brought to the table, all that excitement you brought, whether it was in Cleveland, Miami, the Lakers, and now Philly, you're not getting it back. But people, as human beings, it's, well, if it was me, this is what I would have done. Well, it's not. Your circumstances, looking at it today, don't dictate how you would make that decision, because you haven't been through those steps. You got to go through a litany of steps in order to make certain decisions and think the way you do and why you do. But a lot of people think about it on the cuff. Well, if it was me, I would do this, and I would. Well, it's not that simple. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's wrong. And that's why we're human, and that's why we make our decisions based on what we want to do a lot of times, not what everybody else expects us to do.
Yeah, people forget the Lakers weren't any good for 5 years prior to LeBron getting there.
Well, I mean, you can't say that to Laker fans, because, I'm here in LA. He was never accepted like that. Like that. It was still a Kobe standard. And I get it. Here in LA. True, like the LA fans, they rooted for the Lakers, but they weren't rooting for really LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted the Lakers to be successful. Don't get me wrong. But it was this cloud here in LA, despite what LeBron brought to the table, that it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't Kobe. Kobe would have did this. Kobe would have did this. And you forgot Kobe had some flaws while he was here in LA. Kobe wasn't perfect, but he was perfect for LA. He was perfect for the environment and community here.
And it wasn't a cloud, it was a marine layer, by the way. Just to let you know there, Jim. All right, that's what the locals call it.
That's what okay, you're right. I get it, too. I get it in the morning, bro.
Are the Lakers better today than they were a month ago?
A little deeper. Deeper.
Are they better?
I think they're. I mean, went to the first round of the playoffs. They won. I don't think they're better.
Okay.
I think what happened though, Dan, if you're going to pass the mantle to Luka, LeBron couldn't be there. His aura is too big. His presence is too big. Even though he may be on the back end of his career, if you're going to give this thing to Luka, Luka has to have full reign. He can't be looking over his shoulder. And not that was a LeBron thing or whatever, or Luka was uncomfortable, but it is. And so it was time to make that change. It's going to be interesting to see over the next year and a half how they really build out this roster with the restrictions that they have.